The following announcement has been paid for by the family and friends of Lucas effin Hackett.
Alejandro, you really love to live in your own sick delusions, huh? I bet you love to live in a world that's filled with all delusions. I gotta say, that's more of your style. I completely have no frickin' clue what Heather finds attracted on you. Well, whatever it is, I'm pretty 100% sure that it makes me sick to my damn stomach. But enough about that pathetic barf bag that is your uncomfortable love life. Let's talk about why I'm really here doing this live via satellite instead of Beach Blast. Oh, I know, trust me, I would love to be there in front of my fans, who I missed so much during my long hiatus away from YouTube, but yeah, I'm afraid your stupid little shithead stink would make me want to puke buckets so much I mailed them to both you and your girlfriend. For weeks, months, heck for years, all you have been doing here in RCCW is trash me, disrespect me, slander me, cuss me out just by calling me a chihuahua and a swine altogether. All because I treated you badly for the way you've been booked in CCW throughout these years. Yeah, you know, I'll admit that CCW has been quite active due to a creative struggle thanks to the piece of ass stump known as WWE 2K20, but yeah, we've been getting talks with YouTube about having to make another possible reboot / return to YouTube. And I only hope that as your role as the current CCW World Heavyweight Champion, you'll make your commitments with what I promised you in the contract. Perhaps it's just not enough to satisfy you, isn't it? After everything I have given you just to make sure you are booked to the best of my ability, you still have the nerve to disrespect me all because you're still not satisfied with the way I'm doing my damnness to give you the respect that you finally need. What is it that you want from me that I haven't given you? I only given you everything you ever need. A job here in CCW, all the money, all the fame, a girl which I wish you never had to begin with since I despise you and Heather altogether. Hell, I even gave you the CCW World Heavyweight Championship. I clearly don't know what else I want to give you. You want me to bend down on my knees and have me literally kiss your ass for the fun of it? Because truth be told, I would rather walk the ground MJF worships on in AEW. I would rather sing the praises of Matt Cardona back in both GCW and NWA. And if you want to know something really surprising, I would rather acknowledge the tribal chief Roman Reigns of WWE than to take part in something humiliating that only someone like you would do to something like me. You've always had it out for me since the moment you stepped into both CCW and RCCW at the same time. And ever since you cheated to win that Total Drama World Tour a decade ago, I've always had a thorn in my ass that I can never get rid of for some reason. I can name a whole lot of reasons why it's still there to this very day. One of those reasons was the fact that for some reason you replaced a character I felt should have deserved better in the Total Drama franchise, let alone the entire series itself. I gave Justin a place in CCW where he can at least be treated better and make him feel appreciated from all of the ignorance he suffered from the fandom, all because of you. He had to earn everything from all of the hard work he achieved just by being here. What happened when I brought him in? Simple. He became CCW Revolution Champion and had one of the greatest reigns he had with the title. I could say the same for Dipper Pines. He fought all the way hard to the top and had to dig hard for his opportunity after crawling all the way through the bottom. And then let's mention both Kevin Quinn and Lauren Taylor, shall we? Are they cartoons? No, not the slightest. But Alejandro, you forgot to mention the fact that both those two came from a company that was mostly built for cartoons. When they came on CCW, believe this or not, it helped get us more subscribers, more views, more exposure thanks to word of mouth. Regardless if they were loved or hated, no one can deny the fact that they were must watch because we were curious what they were going to do next. Now, why did I mention Justin, Dipper Pines, Lauren Taylor, and Kevin Mother Loving Quinn in that same sentence? It was simple. They always treated me with respect because I respected them every single step of the way. Alejandro, if you treated me with the same respect everyone in that CCW locker room shows me 24/7 for the rest of my life, then maybe, just maybe, I might like you a little more. But no, all you continue to do from here on out was cause problems for me. Things I can't even bother to list for everyone watching. You don't know how much shit I had to deal with your despicable attitude towards me nonstop. The way you always spit in my direction behind my back. The way you always spit on my food when I'm not even looking. The way you park on my parking spot all the freaking time and don't even bother to move. And I don't want to remember the time you and Heather had sex in my office in the one place where I always eat my lunch at in peace wherever I'm not working. That's the reason why I gave you hell, Alejandro. All because you didn't give me the respect not also as a person entirely, but you didn't give me any respect as a boss. Now, I did my best to ignore every single remark you made about me throughout all these weeks in CCW. But when this goes on for far too long, you give me no choice but to finally say enough. I've had enough of the slandering. I've had enough of the remarks. I had enough of the disrespect you have given me throughout these waking years. Alejandro, I can think of no better way to settle this than to do it in the one place where grudges are settled and battles are finally finished and done with. Alejandro, if you are hearing this, best be aware that as of right now, I'm officially joining RCCW next season. That way, I can officially challenge your sorry little garbage dump of an ass to a match. But not just any match. The one match that can be more dangerous than you can ever possibly imagine. Alejandro, I can only give you 3 simple words that fit that description. Fort Smith Deathmatch. Let those 3 simple words burn into your brain the next time you go to sleep, my friend. But then again, I wouldn't want to sleep to begin with if I were you. I don't think I ever want to wait till next season if I feel like it. Who knows? Maybe I could be in your hotel room after Beach Blast ends. Maybe I could be outside the building. Or better yet, maybe I could be inside the building and you just didn't know it all along. You just may never know. Because you do know what next season RCCW will have in store, right? You should know because this season will involve cross-platform community creations from all consoles. Which means for RCCW, the forbidden door is about to be blown wide open. Anyone from any promotion like my Cartoon Carnage Wrestling and All Fictional Wrestling, for example, can show up anywhere, including RCCW. And that includes me, Alejandro. So in closing, I want to ask you 3 final words that I want to leave in your tiny head brain before you even attempt to leave this arena on your own 2 feet. Watch your back.
This message was brought to you directly by the family and friends of Lucas effin Hackett.
Oh, Lucas Hackett. Why am I not surprised? Finally you speak up. Finally you decide that enough is enough. Finally you grow common sense. Finally you respond to me, and finally you decide to bring CCW back from Facebook Gaming onto YouTube so that everyone will bask in the glory of the current CCW World Heavyweight Champion, El Dominio Alejandro Burromeutro. Oh, Lucas. Where do I even begin with you, essay? Let us begin from the beginning. You first want to personally attack my love life, which you claim to be some grade school insult, when I have wooed the women of Total Drama, as well as women across the globe, and finally settled down with the finest, beautifulest rose in the garden, the Queen Bee, my Queen Bee, the leader of all the Queen Bees, the current RCCW Women's World Champion, and the woman who is going to put Gwen in her place, as well as ensure that someone who claims that he is very lucky does not get the bragging rights Gwen so desperately wants to give him and the rest of the world. So remind me again how it is my love life that is in the dumps, and it's not yours. I can't help but laugh. I can't. Because all of this is over something that happened nearly a decade ago, as you said yourself, Lucas. A decade ago on Total Drama World Tour, where I debuted, and I lied, I cheated, and I stole my way to a free $1 million. And you hold a grudge for that. When I did something that any sane man would do to become rich. Don't give me this honor crap. Don't give me the dignity bull. Any man would throw those away for a chance to be the richest man on the planet, and that is what I did. I have no regrets about what I did. The people I hurt, the people I lied to, the people I cheated from, and the people I stole from. They can rot in hell. The only thing I would change is I would ensure that check had an extra 3 zeros on it. That is all I would change, and I would change nothing else but the amount of money that I worked for. Can your precious pretty princess, golden boy Justin, say that? Can he say that he has $1 million invested in the stock market and grows richer and richer and richer and richer by the day? No, because Justin does not have the killer instinct that I do. That is why I was the one who won. That is why I had the opportunities that I had. That is why I am better than Justin ever will be. Because Justin is too afraid to get his hands dirty, truthfully, to get the job done. He lacks the killer predator instinct that I have. But that's what you do, Lucas. You defend those who are too weak, too spineless to be the predator. You attempt to mold them up in an image that makes them seem as such. But in reality, we all know that they are always and will always remain the prey. Oh, you tried to help Justin, all right. Tried to help him to the Revolution Championship. The same thing you did with Jaring Charmin at Wrestle Bowl, 3? Wrestle Bowl 3? Where Dipper Pines had to scratch and claw his way into that main event? The main event you tried to deprive him of because you wanted to sustain the main event match between your two golden boys, Justin and Daring Charmin? You say you helped Dipper Pines, but it was Dipper Pines who helped himself by dropping you on your ass and hijacking your main event. And speaking of hijacking, let's get on to the topic of Kevin Quinn and Lauren Taylor. You claim that they showed you respect, they say? Respect? That's why you hate me, because I don't show you respect? But you claim that Kevin Quinn and Lauren Taylor showed you respect when they brought in the Disney Death Dealers and hijacked all of CCW to the point that you had to bring in Rick C. and Prince Macau to help you purge the cancer that was Kevin Quinn? Is that respect? Or is it just you letting Kevin Quinn and Lauren Taylor, your good Twitter buddies, walk all over you like the insignificant welcome mat that you are? But they get away with it because they bring in the views. They bring in the ratings, right? Rather than invest in your own talent, you'd rather bring in these washed-up Disney has-beens into CCW in an attempt to bring in ratings. At this point, Lucas, when are the Paul brothers going to show up in CCW, You already have Hulk Hogan in CCW. So when is Logan Paul and Jake Paul going to show up? I know Liam Malone would be ejaculating at the thought. Even still, you would push them above me. And you know why that is, Lucas? Because of your claims of all these horrible things I have done to you. But in reality, Lucas, I don't spit when you don't look at me. I spit directly in your face. I don't eat the food off your plate, Lucas. I take your lunch money and I buy the food for myself. I don't just steal your parking spot, Lucas. I find your car and I smash your windows and slash your tires. And don't even get me started on what else Heather and I have done in your office. Oh, if only you knew. You wouldn't be able to look at anything in that office the same way. And Lucas, if the day came in which you were to drop dead, then I would attend your funeral only to spit upon your grave. You see, Rick C. and I do not see eye to eye. We have different moral standpoints, but Rick C. has always been unbiased in my direction when it came to the company. Respect or disrespect. You, Lucas, claim that I am the one without respect when you are the one holding a grudge for 10 years. And yet you want to attack me for my grudge against you for the way you treated me. For the times you screwed me over, for the opportunities I never had, for the opportunities I had to grab your balls over. But you give them all to your golden geese. Justin, Daring Charmin, Applewhite, Vanessa Doofenshmirtz, Monty Monogram, Jessica Rabbit, Kevin Quinn, Lauren Taylor, and you might as well throw all of Bullet Club CCW and the Disney Death Dealers into the golden boys and golden girls of your company. An overrated statement, but a statement that could not be more true when looking at the layout of the roster of Cartoon Carnage Wrestling. And then you look at the bottom of it. The bottom of the barrel of all the people you have screwed over. Let me ask you something, Lucas. Where is the Beast? Where is Reggie Mantle? Where is Dipper Pines now that he's lost the Revolution Championship? Where is Ben Tennyson? Heath Burns? Sterling Archer, your first 2 world champions. Chloe Bourgeois, the Shredder, and hell, even your former Golden Girl, Jessica Rabbit. Where did they all go, Lucas? Where are they? Where are their opportunities? The ones that remain will get nothing, and the ones who are gone will stay gone for good. It is no wonder you simp for the Royals of Ever After High, because you sympathize with them and their privileged destinies. And after all this tough talk you send my way, Lucas Hackett, you then go on to say that you won't be at RCCW Beach Blast. No, because apparently my machismo musk scares you away. Meanwhile, Lucas, even after everything's said and done between the two of us, I have every intention of showing up at CCW Resurrection and competing in the champion versus champion contest, and every intention of winning and going on to further cement my reign as the greatest CCW World Heavyweight Champion of all time. But it seems that is not where this story ends, Lucas, because finally you have come to make the challenge. You have come to me with the idea of coming to RCCW. You have come up with the idea to confront me, and you have challenged me to a Fort Smith death match. I've already beaten you once, Lucas Hackett. But allow me to remove the face mask of El Dominio and prove to you that it is not just a fancy costume. You see, Lucas, I have taken the title of El Dominio and I have fully embraced it. I am El Dominio. I am a fiend. I am the rottenest scum that could ever curse this earth. And if you want a Fort Smith deathmatch, Lucas Hackett, then all we need to do is talk to your good friend Rick C. And I'm sure he would be more than happy to allow you in through the forbidden door. In fact, I will be there, holding the door wide open for you. But just know, Lucas, if you are looking for an alternate result to our last encounter at Summer Jam, you are sorely mistaken. Because when the match is finished and our blood is upon the canvas, upon the weapons, and upon ourselves, you will have no choice but to worship the ground I walk upon. Because I am better than you, and you know it. You will have no choice but to sing my praises like beautiful music, because I am always ready for you. And when it is all said and done, you will be given no choice but to acknowledge me. As will the RCCW universe acknowledge me, Alejandro Burromeutro, as your new Grand Champion. Jordan Oliver, Johnny Cage, and Kamikaze, I promise you that none of you will leave Beach Blast in Chicago, Illinois, the champion. I will bring the gold to this fellowship, and I will finally achieve my destino.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Crimrocker. You know me as the VGW United States Champion. You know me as the current CAA European Champion. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. Because you may be wondering, well, Crim, why on earth are you on the RCCW channel right now, with your own video, talking on your own promo? I'm glad you asked, because I'm here to speak my opinion about a match upcoming for RCCW Beach Blast. And that is the World Title Main Event In case none of you know, the main event is Lincoln Loud defending his World Heavyweight Championship against RCCW owner and founder, Rick C. Now, Rick, I respect Rick a lot. Me and Rick have been through a lot of tough shit in the past year, and we've came back from it strong. Rick is probably one of the most passionate bastards I've ever seen in this ring and out of it. But you, Lincoln, you had it all. You had fan support even when you didn't want it. You had it all going for you, and what'd you do? You got rid of it. You worked to get that world title, and you finally did. And what'd you do? You threw any and all support that you had once you won that. And you threw it away for what? Your petty grudge? Is that what it is, Lincoln? No, I'll tell you what it is. You cling on to that title so much because it's your validation. Your validation that you were never able to get, but every other member of your family was. That red, blue, and gold that you currently carry right now is that trophy that you don't keep with the others because you hold on to it. You hold it to make sure that everyone else that you think is below you, to make sure that they know you're the top dog. But Lincoln, let me tell you something. Going into this match, what do you think Rick has to lose? If Rick loses, he can just go back to being the boss, the owner, the man himself. Nobody's going to turn their backs on Rick if he loses to you. But here's my question. What happens if you lose, Lincoln? All that time and effort that you spent crawling, blood, sweat, and tears for that belt could all go up in flames because of your own mistake. You were given the opportunity to choose anyone as your opponent, and you chose Rick. What's going to happen if you lose? Rick can go back to doing the same thing he always does, and that's to be the workhorse of the CAW League Nations. What happens if you lose? You have to start back from bottom. And you know what happens when you start back from bottom? That means you've got to do even more work to get the belt back. Lincoln, don't think I don't know what you've went through before you won that world title. You need I remind you of your Avalanche multiplayer title reign? Or the fact of Two Twisted Merc, the man you fought? I'm not going to compare you to him because that's been done to death already. And quite frankly, it's shown you're becoming far more worse than someone like him. Because at least he somewhat knew his limit. Lincoln, you have gone out of your way to tear off a man's prosthetic. You have gone out of your way to injure your former best friend. And for what? Because you want to make a point towards everyone else? Because you want to keep that validation by any means necessary? Lincoln, you are a sad man. You are a very sad man. And right now, your fall from grace is actually very touching. But you don't realize that. And quite frankly, you never will. Lincoln, I hope someday that my words come to your head and you realize that you fucked up. I want you to take a long look in the mirror after you lose to Rick C. And I want you to wonder, where did I go wrong? Where did the Hex, the longest reigning RCCW World Champion, go wrong? I'll tell you where you went wrong. Your spitefulness, your neglect of others, friends, family, even cohorts at the workplace. Now I want you to look back at all that, and then you will realize what you've done. Lincoln, I hope you're ready, because going into Beach Blast, you will have nothing. Nothing but that title and your ability to wrestle. Rick's bringing the whole armada. He has his skills, his anger to win. He has that drive, that passion. He has the fans behind him. Hell, he may even have some commentators behind him. But he's also got me in the locker room with him, getting him prepared for the biggest match, most likely in RCCW history. And Lincoln, before you even think about responding to me, I want you to answer me this question. If you're going to mouth off to me about telling the truth to you, then what exactly have you been listening to your entire life? Crimrocker, out.
What have I been listening to my whole life? What have I been listening to my whole life? Sorry, kid. You're not cut out for it. Him? He's the runt of the litter. He'll never be anything special. You'll always be the lesser Loud. Sorry, kid. You don't got the chops. Hey, when this fluke of a CCW title reign is done, let's make this kid a fucking jobber. That's what I've listened to my whole life. That's what's been filling my head my whole damn life, Crim. You think it's been a bunch of ego stroking and praise from my family? No. Constantly, I was emasculated, humiliated, embarrassed, kicked around, and physically and mentally and emotionally tormented. And it seems like history repeats itself, because that's all I get from you idiot fans, moronic clone members, stupid commentators, and that entire waste of a roster in the back. You think I was groomed from the start to be a world champion? Nah. Let me take you a little bit back, Mr. Crimrocker, Mr. VGW United States Champion, Mr. CAA European Champion. Let me take you to a time in which I started out wrestling. The Royal Woods Wrestling Federation. In Royal Woods Auditorium. I started out as a fucking joke. A jester. A clown. Some guy in a superhero cape. And I had to claw and scratch my way up from adversity, from people pointing at me and saying, he'll never make it. He'll never be anything special. And I proved them wrong when I won the Royal Woods Wrestling Federation Championship. And I was the standard bearer until the very moment I left to go to Cartoon Carnage Wrestling. I was the hero back in Royal Woods. I was the savior. I was the guy who people could look up to as an average Joe. And something changed. When I came to CCW, I wasn't getting that same energy, and I had already ground my way to the top, and that's when Nick Club came together. I was approached by SpongeBob SquarePants himself. And as a kid new on the block, I was flabbergasted that this legend wanted to talk to me, and he pitched the idea of forming a faction called Nick Club. A Nickelodeon-based stable, with all of us having each other's back. And he wanted me to lead the charge. He wanted me to represent the future of Nickelodeon. I'd have to be a damn fool to say no. And from that moment onward, that led me to the CCW World Heavyweight Championship. And that in turn led to me coming to RCCW to win the Gift of Greed, to cash in at Evolve after defeating Too Twisted Merc, the man who many say I've become or surpassed, like it's not a damn broken record at this point. And somehow that led to here we are now. It led to everyone getting jealous. Hell, they were jealous from the start. Look at Adam Aries, for example. The guy who was up on his high horse about how he was honorable and noble and all that shit. And look what he's doing now. He's trying to be a bootleg version of me. So much for that honor, eh, Adam? I told you, kid, you didn't cut it. It led to people like Moore wanting to sabotage me from the very beginning because I mouthed off his golden boy, Adam Aries. It led to people like Liam Malone trying to rehash old stories with me and Rafaz, the face-painted freak. It led to TJ Marconi. It led to Pete Corbis leeching off of my ass. It led to Melchard Coranto and the Singapore Cane Mafia thinking they were tough shit, and it led to Chard making himself the boss of Bullet Club. And it also led to Quentin Credible trying to do the impossible and failing miserably. So many people, past, present, future, have tried to get that at the expense of Lincoln Loud, but guess what? They fall into obscurity, and Lincoln Loud perseveres. Lincoln Loud has that animal instinct. I've proven to be the face of this division. No matter how many times people want to bring up past champions, they don't hold a candle to what I got. Damn, Crim. You try to sit there and cut this bootleg Rick C promo. Why don't you go sit by Jonah over there in the blue zone? And why don't you two make a tag team? You could be called the Rick C Impersonation Squad. Or the Rick C Dick Sucking Crew. Because that's all you do. That's all you fans do. That's all these people do. You don't think I've seen the predictions? Not a soul thinks I'm gonna win. Not a soul thinks I can beat Rick C. Not a soul is on my side. Everyone's gagging up on Rick C's balls. They're going into battle with Rick C. He's bringing the whole armada of this. But let me tell you something that I told Jonah on the Blue Zone, Crim. Rick C can bring all the sheep in the world to Beach Blast with him. But by the end of the night, I'm going to be eating lamb chops for years to come. In layman's terms, I'm going to slaughter the whole herd after I take the shepherd out first. The whole arena may be booing me, but they better be ready to boo me as loud as their lungs can produce sound when I beat Rick C. They better have all their cups and their food wrappers and their popcorn holders ready to chuck in my direction as I hold my arms out and embrace the trash rain when I still have the RCCW World Heavyweight Championship around my waist. And you say Rick C can go right back to doing what he does best, being the boss, the owner, the man? You think Rick can just live with that? Wow, you claim to be real close to Rick, but if I know Rick, my boss, my employer, if Rick loses at Beach Blast, after all this emotion he's been pouring out time and time again, I don't think RCCW's return is going to last too much longer. Rick C might just hang up the boots again. Rick C might just shut the channel down for good, and RCCW is donezo, this time for good. And hey, fine by me. I'll still be recognized as the final and the greatest World Heavyweight Champion of this company. And it's a damn shame it's come to this, because Rick was one of the only people, no, scratch that, he was the only guy to ever see something in me other than being a jobber. Ain't that right, Maurice? He was one of the guys who didn't try to mooch off me for my ability, for my clout. Ain't that right, Liam? Ain't that right, Chard? He's not the guy who tried to feed me to the bigger name. Ain't that right, Status Quo? No. He saw something in me, and he gave me one shot, and I exceeded beyond his wildest expectations. I am the greatest creation of Rick C, but I am also his most tragic. Because I'm the creation that's forced to put him down. Because he turned on me. Nick Club turned on me. The fans turned on me. You all wanted Lincoln Loud to be the World Heavyweight Champion last Evolve. You all were on your feet for me. But the moment I decided the reign was going to be about me and doing anything it took to keep this championship, then you turned on me. The Nick Club turned on me when I wanted us to go back to the way we were. The dominant faction that held RCCW by the gonads and dominated for years. And then Rick C gave up on me the moment I wanted him to be strong for RCCW. When I called him out for weakness, rather than admit it, he attacked. He beat me down within an inch of my life, not once, but twice. But luck was on his side that time. And luck won't be on his side come Beach Blast. He won't be on anyone's side at Beach Blast, except my side. Because, Krim, you're right. This belt is my validation. The RCCW World Heavyweight Championship is something I worked towards from the day I stepped into the company. Even through all the screw jobs and anchors on my ass, this was what I always wanted. Above everything else, I just wanted the RCCW World Championship. And you better believe now that I have it, I won't let go. If Rick C wants my championship, he's going to have to pry it out of my cold, dead fingers. Because you're going to need all the luck in the world to beat me. Because through the screw jobs, through adversity, through hatred, I still came out the other end as the champion. I still survived hell itself. And if I survive that, then just what do you think is going to stop me? Rick can bring his passion all he wants. Rixie can bring the fans. Rixie can bring the commentators. Rixie can bring the clone. Rixie can bring the world. But if it means still being RCCW World Heavyweight Champion, then I will become the Galactus to your Avengers. And I will go up against the entire globe. Because when it comes to anyone getting this belt off my shoulder, you have no